What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the rePORTER Show. I want to welcome everybody back from the spring break. As always, I got my co-host with me. I got Dev on my left. I got Tuck on my right. How'd y'all enjoy y'all spring break, man? What y'all did over the break?
I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't expecting to have one.
Oh, yeah,
but
I know it,
unfortunately, you know what I'm
it.
saying? I'll never complain about having a break.
Yeah.
So I went home, beat my brother in golf for some money. Come on, bro, you know what it is. I just played some golf, and also my boy's wedding was this weekend. So
Oh, that's nice, man. That's nice. What about you, man? What you did over
to
the
the
break?
crib. Wasn't expecting no spring break either.
Yeah.
So, just went back home, spent time with my mom, my family.
Yeah.
Got to see the people I love, and do some photo shoots over the break.
Yeah.
Stay busy. So
Get you a little money. I got you.
it was
I hear
good.
you. I hear you. Spend time with the fam. My parents actually came down at the beginning of the break, and
nice.
then I went down to visit my other side of the family, my wife's side of the family. So it was a good break. Sound like everybody was chilling with the fam. So that's a good spring break. I hope that y'all all enjoyed y'all's as well. Of course, just because it's spring break don't mean sports stop. Sports was still going over the break, so we got a lot to cover. So I'm gonna try to fly through this one for y'all. 2 weeks ago, not over the spring break week, but the week beforehand, of course, women's wrestling went to the NAIA National Championships. And like I said, we took 6 girls at 160, 14 ranked in the nation, Mahogany Castle. She went 2-0 with a tight loss versus the 12th ranked wrestler in the nation by decision 6-5. At 124, Tess Barnett, she had a dominant win versus 20th ranked wrestler in the nation, who she won that by decision 9-0. And unfortunately, that was her only win before she was eliminated. At 207, 13th ranked in the nation, Leilani Sanchez. Her only win would be versus the 11th ranked wrestler in the nation, who she won by pin, but that was before she was eliminated right after at 103. 15th ranked in the nation, Mallory Dominguez. She had a very, very tough tournament. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm saying that in a way that she didn't go out easy. In her first match, she faced off against the 3rd ranked wrestler in the nation. She lost by decision 4-4. So clearly it's a tie. But they don't do overtime in this style of wrestling, so they do it by criteria on takedowns, which is, to sum it up, basically having more control. So she ended up losing that first match. And then she went into her second match versus 17th ranked wrestler in the nation. She won that one by decision 5-1. And her next match, she won versus the 11th ranked wrestler in the nation. She won that by decision 6-0. So handling her business. Then she ended up facing off against the 4th ranked wrestler in the nation, and she lost that one by decision 3-3. Also by criteria on takedown. So it was a tough way for her to be eliminated out of the tournament because she didn't really take a loss.
Nobody technically
beat her, bro. But she still had to go home after that one, so that was a tough way to end it. But I mean, you can't really be too upset about a showing like that. You basically went 2-0-2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
and that's at the national
level.
So still props to her for a great season.
Exactly. And speaking of that, both of those matches were against those are 2 top 5 wrestlers in the nation. So that's something to say right there. Something to say. At 131, y'all already know who it is. Mercy, ranked 2nd in the nation. She went 4-1 over the course of this tournament. Her first matchup, 14th ranked in the nation, she won by tech fall 10-0. Versus 10th ranked wrestler in the nation, which was her next match, she won by tech fall 10-0. So then that put her in the semifinal match, which was expected. I'm not gonna lie to you. I sort of expected her to at least make it to the semifinals. The finals, I had a strong
belief
that she would make it to the finals. Exactly. So in the semifinal match, guess who she had to face off against? The same girl that she beat earlier in the year, the U.S. Open girl.
Oh man.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, so
they was gonna meet back.
They was gonna meet
eventually,
again. They was gonna meet again. She ended up losing this one by pin, which put her in the consolation match. Of course, chasing 3rd place, but ain't nothing wrong with that. She ended up winning versus the 4th ranked wrestler in the nation by decision 11-5, and then she went into that 3rd place match, facing off against the number 1 ranked wrestler in the nation. So crazy that the number 1 and the number 2 in their weight class did not end up in that championship match.
There was a few upsets.
Exactly, man. A couple of upsets.
Some of the other wrestlers came to
definitely.
They came to show out that day.
And then on the 3rd place match, it was 1v2. That's crazy. Mercy ended up winning that one, 15-6 to place 3rd at nationals, which is the highest placing that we had this year or for wrestling. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get on to at 138. Jordan Suarez, y'all already know she had a dominant year as well. She went 4-2 over the course of this tournament. She won her first match against the 15th ranked wrestler in the nation by pin. Then she lost her next match versus the 6th ranked wrestler by decision 4-3, so a really tight match. So then she would go on to, of course, her consolation matches, chasing the 3rd place. Versus 18th ranked wrestler in the nation, she won by decision 8-4. Then versus an unranked opponent, she won by pin. And then versus the 5th ranked wrestler in the nation, she lost by decision 9-9, also by criteria on takedowns, which of course then put her in the 5th place match, which she won by pin versus the 11th ranked wrestler in the nation. So we had 2 girls placing the top 5 at nationals.
Yeah, it was a great showing for the women. I mean, I feel like we talked about the men a lot this season because the men came out hot, but at the same time, the women, there were very few matches that they lost as a team. So to see them have 2 people finish in the top 5 in the whole country, no telling how many wrestlers even compete at their weight. You know, God knows how many.
Even
So.
taking 6 to nationals.
Exactly,
taking 6
exactly. So I think just all in all for both men's and women's wrestling, this has got to be one of the historic years for us, one of the better years we've had, the best year they've had since I've been here for sure.
3 placing at nationals combined between men's and women's. And then, of course, you know, like I said, the men's took home the conference championship, and then the women's lost by 1.5 points. So, you know, like you said, it's a really good year for them. It's a good way to close out the year. I know that they want more, but you always got, well, you don't always have another season, but a lot of these wrestlers do have another season, so they'll be back, maybe, hopefully, competing for another national championship. Sure. Let's take this one on to women's basketball. Women's basketball was, of course, at the national tournament in the first round of 64 versus Carroll. And we talked about this team, this tough team, and I will say that they came out hot. They came out shooting. It was lighting up.
They was letting it go.
Yeah, they was letting it go, and they was knocking it down. They was 4 for 7 from 3 in that first quarter, I believe, and they didn't miss much. They jumped out to an early lead and led by 10 after that first quarter. But what I will say is they did not have a game for Megan, plan for Megan.
Nobody.
They didn't have a game plan for Megan. Let's keep it a bean. She had 20 points and 9 rebounds in the first half. She almost had a double-double in the first half. You know what I'm saying? That's quite ridiculous. And she honestly kept us in this game. We went into the half down 43-39, but if it wasn't for her, we probably wouldn't have been in the game at all. So, of course, we came out in the second half. What happens? You got to get the big out. So they got her in foul trouble.
Yep.
So she had to sub out. And, of course, with her out, our offense died down a little bit. But at the end of the day, she had to come back in eventually. And when she did, they couldn't stop her. She ended up with 35 and 15 with 9 offensive rebounds. 17 for 20 from the field. 17 for 20?
35.
She ain't missed nothing.
Bro. It was crazy is that little last shot she hit, bro. She's shooting jab middies now, yeah.
No, when me and my wife was watching the game, I was watching it with my parents because they was down at the time. I was like, hey, I'm trying to tune into the girls. She was doing paint work all game. Then she got the ball at the end of the game. She was at the low block.
She in the short corner, yeah.
She pulled up, shot it.
I said, yeah. But she did that. I said, nah, Megan just trying stuff now. I said, nah, Megan, she just trying new moves now, bro.
Little takeover bag.
She got bored, bro. She got bored and just started just trying new moves, bro.
Because we ended up winning 72-63.
That is crazy, man.
But it was just tough to see because you could tell that without her, we weren't going to move on. And you can't have that at the national tournament level. You got to be able to have that supporting cast.
Facts.
People off the bench got to support her. People in the starting lineup got to support her. Now, I'm not saying nobody else did nothing. I'm just saying at the end of the day, all the pressure was on her.
It was.
Because it was like, you got to basically take us to victory at this point, which she did.
But we can't rely on that, like you said.
We can't.
In a tournament at this level, bro, like it's almost impossible to rely on one player. It probably is impossible to rely on one player to carry you throughout the entire thing, especially after a game like that. The defensive focus on the next game is going to be
all on man.
Yeah.
All on man.
But it was one of those games, like, they're in a neutral site, so we shot, 3 for 13 from 3.
Yeah. It wasn't that good.
I know they shot better than that from 3 because that first half, it seemed like that was almost everything they scored was just off of threes. But so they're a good team, real just fundamental, move it around. They reminded me of how John Brown looked last year, John Brown's women's.
They did
just had a lot of shooters, moved it really well. But credit to Cooper. I mean, I think in the national tournament games where you're down going into the fourth quarter, even if she's in foul trouble, you got to roll with your dogs and just let them be who they are. And so I think he took a risk putting Megan in, but it paid off, and I think it was a good move by him because there was obviously nothing they could do about her.
For sure. And huge props to Meg for, being able to realize the situation she was in, knowing she's in foul trouble, and still being able to dominate the way that she did. Exactly. I don't think we've really seen a stat line from her like this since last year. Yes, she had a great year this year by all means, but this impactful of play, we haven't seen this in a while, and I think it was great to see her still keep that up, especially this far into the season, when you would expect you know what I'm saying, defensive pressure to be a whole lot more.
Honestly,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
and she still battled through that and still managed to be the Meg that we've come to know.
Yeah, definitely. We went into the next round of 32 versus Southern Oregon, the second-ranked team in the nation, undefeated on the year. And we was at their home place. So you already know, as soon as I tuned in, that gym was
It was
packed
a full house,
out.
yeah.
Packed out. Do they have the
Attendance.
The attendance on there?
I know
It's
they
got to
usually
be on there.
do.
Bro, when I tell you, there was probably
Oh, 12. It was 1,200 people in that gym.
That's what
bro.
I'm telling
and their
you.
gym is not near as big as ours.
No.
So
Bro, when I tell you they packed them
you
people
feel it.
in,
Yeah, it was 1,200
They
people.
packed them
in there.
people
Like more than
in.
Montana Tech last year?
Yeah, about the same.
That's
About the same.
It was I mean,
understand.
at the end of the day, when you go to the national tournament, if you play that host team and they top dogs in the nation,
It's
you
gonna
better
be
expect
You
some
gotta
type
come
of
with it,
environment. And boy, did they come into one. That first half, man, we had a slow start. I ain't gonna lie to you. It looked just like the previous game. There was no offense outside of Meg and Caitlin. So no one else. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna say it like this. I just feel like the rest of the team was playing timid in a way. It just looked like they didn't want to take that shot when they normally might take that shot. So we looked timid. We didn't have really, like I said, much of anything going on outside of Meg and Caitlin. Going into the halftime break, we only had one other girl on our team that had scored a point,
Oh, wow.
and that was Linda with 4. Every other point was on Meg and Caitlin. And like I said in the last game, games like that, that's not gonna
You
work.
can't rely on them.
That's not gonna work. And so it didn't. I'm not even gonna try to break down this whole game. Southern Oregon, they was playing with ease because they was playing at home. They was with their home crowd, and they could see that outside of these two girls right here, this team is struggling. So we got this, and that's what they did. They jumped out to a big lead, and they ended up winning this one. Well, we ended up losing this one 51-78.
Man, yeah, I turned it on probably like halfway through the second quarter, and it had already gotten ugly.
Yeah.
But I still watched the rest of it. But it's like, we matched them to an extent in the second half.
did
but
a
it's
little
like,
bit.
man, how do you play? Like, you gotta just turn it up 3 notches
Yeah.
if you want to come back
It's
down.
hard.
They were down like 25 when I
Yeah.
turned it on. So, I mean, I don't know. The Southern Oregon as a team, they were moving. I mean, it's like they were getting wide open layups.
They
We were in
were.
a zone, and they were either getting an uncontested layup or a 3. It seemed like almost every time.
That
and
one
they were
girl
just
had
swinging
an
it.
ugly shot,
She did. Are you
but
talking
she
about
was
a-
knocking them down.
Yeah, I
Yo,
can't
she
even-
was shooting
she
like
was letting it go.
this, and she
Yeah.
was drilling
Like,
them.
They was
Oh,
just
I
feeding
said,
off-
how is she making that shot? That is ugly.
They were
But
feeding off the crowd. They
Yeah.
were moving it. It was like they were playing hot potato. The ball was moving so fast. So credit to them. They're
They're
a
a good team.
I-
They
I don't know if
31-0
they're
for
still
a
in it or
reason,
not,
bro.
But yeah, I could tell why
Yeah.
they had never lost the games
Yeah.
this
Oh,
season.
man.
Yeah, it was a tough way to go out. You know, you really always, if you're gonna go out, you want to go out with your best. And it sucks when not everybody perform the way that you would expect them to perform.
The way that
Especially
you know
As a
them.
team,
Yeah,
we definitely
as
didn't
a
go out
team.
playing.
Yeah.
Like as
Yeah.
a team, we didn't go out playing our best.
Nah, we didn't. And
It's a tough pill to swallow. It
it
really
is, bro.
Because especially with those who it's their last game or whatever, like
Yeah.
knowing that you could have done more, knowing that you should have done more, and that you're capable of doing more,
But didn't.
it
Yeah.
just hurts.
It
It
hurts.
It
hurts.
do hurt. I can tell y'all from
Uh,
personal
uh,
experience. It's not
Yeah.
fun, but
It ain't fun,
I mean, all that to say though, man, you make it to the second round of the national tournament. That's something
It's
only
something
proud of.
32 teams
Only
do.
32 teams
so,
left.
I mean,
You know what I'm
Something
you
to be
got to
proud
give them
of.
credit. It
Yeah.
probably feels disappointing for them because the Flying Queens, they want nothing less than a national championship. But when you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, they won a ton of games this year. They fought through a lot of adversity, so they got better. So I don't think it's definitely no reason to hang your head on this season.
You're absolutely
I
right,
agree.
man. You're absolutely right. Let's take this one on to baseball. As you guys know, I'm trying to fly through it. Baseball had a lot of games over the break that we've had, not over just spring break, but of course the previous week as well. They started off at Angelo State, the third-ranked team in the nation at the D2 level. And I'm not going to break this one down that much. They lost that series 2-0. When you play a team like that, you got to bring your A game. And what I will say is our hitters did hit well, but our pitching did not do what they needed to do. And, of course, that's why we ended up losing this series. But that series really don't matter. At this point in the season, we're trying to tune each other up because conference is already rolling. So we had a conference matchup against Southwestern Christian. Game one, we had a lot of two-out hitting. I think we scored 5 runs with 2 outs.
Wow.
Not just in one inning, but just over the course of the game. You know, every single time we got in a situation where we had 2 outs and we needed a hit, we got it. And that's what you really need from a team if you want to win the games, especially the tight ones. In the top of the third, Memo had an RBI single that made it 2-0. In the top of the fourth, Cooper and Felix with back-to-back RBI singles. They made it 5-2. And in the top of the seventh, Riley with the 2 RBI single made it 7-2. Like I said, all these guys getting these big knocks with 2 outs. Pitching did I won't say very well. They did decent. They did their job. I'll say that. They did their job. Tate struggled with walks again, but first guy out of the pen was Juan, and they put him in a tight spot. I ain't going to lie. Bases loaded with 1 out, and he gets called in the game.
Wow.
And so it's like you got to go in there and close it out, man. And so he got a ground out, which scored 1, and then he struck out the next guy. So he got out of it with the least amount of damage that they could have taken. If it wasn't for that inning, I don't know where this game would have been. That was big for him to do that. He would close it out. Like I said, he threw 4 2/3, allowing no runs, 3 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts. We ended up winning this one 7-2. Game 2, this reminded me of back when I first came here. You remember how I told y'all we used to have a bunch of just guys that just hit a bunch of home runs, and our pitchers would just let up a bunch of home runs, so it was like a football game? Well, that's what this was. We won this game 24. I know she not up in here. We won this game 24-13, bro. 24-13? That's a football score.
Yeah, that's how I was thinking.
It looked scary at first. I won't lie to you, because at first we was down 8-0 in the first inning.
Oh, man.
In the first inning. They hit a go ahead.
Is Southwestern Christian like that, or
I'm going to get to that. I'm finna get to that.
For sure.
They hit a grand slam, and then they hit a 2-run home run.
Oh, man.
And of course, you know, they scored some more runs. So we was down 8-0. But they didn't really help themselves out. They got on the mound. They gave us so many freebies. They was hitting guys, walking guys, doing whatever they could to give us what we needed to allow us to be back in this game. We ended up scoring 5 runs in that next inning. But, of course, we kept going, and they didn't. We put together 5 hits, and Samuel joined the hitting parade with a 2-run home run that made it 12-8. And like I said, if you're in a shootout with our team for hitting, you probably ain't gonna win. We got a lot of guys that can hit really well, especially if you ain't got nobody on the mound that's dominating. Like I said, we won 24-13. We went into game 3. Yeah. 24 runs is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
But I'm telling you, that's not the most I've seen.
That's crazy.
In our games.
I was about to say,
I've seen 30.
That
we
is
scored
insane,
30. My
bro.
first year here, we scored like 30-something runs.
Yeah,
That's
30-something runs is just
that's
not
not
even-
nothing to brag about, though, when you win 31-25. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But anywho, we not that team no more. But anywho, we're winning games, low scoring. We winning games, high scoring. All that matters at the end of the day is that you winning games.
Yeah.
So we went into game 3, and you going into game 3 trying to keep your mind right, because you already know you won the series, but you got to get the sweep.
Yeah.
You got to get the sweep. And the guys, they kept the bats hot, man. They put up a 7 spot in the second, a 6 spot in the third, and that, of course, takes a lot of pressure off the pitching. And we did not have any crazy innings, so we ended up winning this one 15-5. We brought out the bros and we swept these boys. Now, back to your question. Southwestern Christian, I ain't going to give them nothing. I'm not going to say they great. I'm not going to say they bad. I'm going to say they're a team that's right there in the middle. Now, record-wise, they look great. On paper, they look beautiful. But I'm telling you now, I think our team has handled Southwestern Christian as long as I've been here. So,
What happened should have happened.
yes.
That's what I was about to
I'll
say.
say it like that.
I don't know nothing about Southwest Christian baseball, but and no disrespect to Southwest Christian, but it's one of those teams, if you don't, in my experience with them, that's a different sport. But
Yeah, it's
you know,
different.
most of the time,
It's
the
Yeah.
teams that are good at one sport, most of the time are good at everything. But anyways, if you don't sweep them, you probably didn't do your job. That's the way I see it.
I think I can say that strongly with our team, because they are
would
a
agree.
decent enough team to
If
steal
you-
one
if-
from you.
if you
you don't
sleep
bring
on
your
them,
best
yeah,
game,
yeah.
they're gonna get
If
you.
you sleep on them, yeah.
And if they do have their guys, because I won't say that their pitching isn't great, they just had terrible outings. And so if their pitching has a good day, they're gonna make it a good game.
Maybe they're not like a disciplined team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're here and there, in which we've been a team like that
Yeah,
before.
those
We've
teams are scary, though.
Yeah, those teams are scary
Yeah.
because they might pop out on you and beat you 20-1.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now people wondering, is you that good?
Yeah, that's like, oh, okay, you might suck.
Yeah, exactly. So it was good that we came out there and we got the sweep. So we moved into good positioning in conference. Then we went into a matchup against Texas Wesleyan just this past weekend. And so in that first game, I love this because I was actually able to watch these games. For the longest, I typically don't get to watch games because I'm always directing and doing something. So I might be watching it, but I'm not really focusing in on it. So it was cool to just be able to just sit in the stands and just enjoy some ball. In that first game, man, we had some early offense, top of the first. I've said his name 1,000 times this year. Delvis with a leadoff home run. That was answer to a solo shot by Texas Wesleyan earlier in the top of the first. I said top of the first for Delvis, but his was in the bottom of the first. Bottom of the first, of course. And then Samuel came up to the plate. Samuel, I need y'all to understand this. Samuel, the home run king, right? All he do is hit home runs. This man dropped down a bunt.
Sacrifice, man.
He dropped down a bunt, and he got on base.
Somebody who cares about his team.
And he got on base. He pushed bunt past first base, past the pitcher. It's like one of those bunts that's like you honestly don't expect it because, first of all, this dude swings for the fences
Home run,
a lot.
home run.
Right.
Yeah.
And then second of all, he pushed it towards the pitcher, but he put so much pressure on it that it got by the pitcher and it got to the second baseman.
Hey, man, whatever
he got on base.
Maybe he start doing
right,
that.
That's what I'm saying. So he scored a run there that made it 2-1, and then the top of the second, Coop had an RBI single to make it 3-1. So early runs, you always love to see the early offense. Like I told you guys before, typically if you score the first run of the game, you're probably gonna win the game. I don't know why that is, but that's how it is. The top of 4, Tex West made us pay though. They made us pay for an error by belting a 2-run home run.
Oh man.
That put them up 1. So we was down 3-4. But in the bottom of the 4th, BP steps up to the plate. He hits a solo home run, and then Delvis steps up to the plate. Delvis hit a 2-run home run. So this is the second home run of the
Another
game.
one.
another 2 home run game for Delvis. He made it 6-4. It was a quiet game the rest of the way. We won the first with 75. It was a statement win first game. Came out game 2. Bottom first, you already know. Felix, solo home run. It's between Felix and Delvis.
Yeah, now it's his turn.
Yeah. Now it's Felix's turn. Sinclair comes out with 2 outs, 2 RBI triple. Big time. Made it 3-1. Now, what I'll say, Texas Wesleyan, they're a scrappy team. They got their runs here and there. They did score, I think they scored a run every inning until we went to the bullpen. So they scored 1 run every inning until we went to the bullpen. So we went to the bullpen, tied at 3, and we went to Potts. Potts has been sort of that first guy out of the bullpen recently. And he did well. He did well. But it got to a point where Texas Wesleyan was threatening, and we had to bring in another guy. We had to call in a closer because the time run was on 3rd, and we had no outs.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? And it's near the end of the game. We got to have it done. So we called a closer, and right now our closer is our outfielder, Christian, because the boy just got a cannon on his arm. You know what I'm saying? He just be throwing that thing. So if you can't hit it, well, if you can't see it, you can't hit it. You know what I'm saying? So if you're throwing it right by you, it is what it is. And so Christian gets up to the mound, and he gets a double play ball. It did score a run, but that's a big play because now you got 2 outs, and you ain't got nobody on base no more. So now you just got to get one more out, and it's only a tie ball game. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what he did. He got the next guy out. I lost my track. Where am I at?
Bottom of the 6.
There you go. Appreciate you, sir. So we went to the bottom of the 6, needing some run production because you really don't want to have to go to the bottom of the 7th. You want to win it at the top of the 7th. Just strike them out and get it over with. So in the bottom of the 6, Memo had a big leadoff double, and then Sinclair bunted. He moved him over with the bunt. Fundamental baseball, love to see it. Then it was a controversial call at the plate. A ground ball that went to the shortstop was thrown home because, of course, the runner was trying to go home. He was trying to score. He was thrown home, and it was really a bang-bang play. The runner got there the same time as the ball did, but it looked as if the runner knocked the ball out of the catcher's glove because, you know, he got hit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They still called him out.
Oh, man.
Still called him out. So it was a very questionable call. Everybody, of course, was upset. You know, I'm just sitting up there just laughing because I'm like, man, these boys here, this is crazy. But then Riley, he would clean up all the mess. He came up to the plate. He had an RBI ground out. So it ain't always about getting a hit. Sometimes it's just about doing your job, and that's just what he did. He ended up getting a win for us. We won 5-4. Of course, like I said, we went into the last inning up, and Christian would close it out. So another big win. So we won the series. So now we on a 5-game winning streak in conference. So that's big. That's big. Game 3. Who's on the mound? Felix is on the mound now, and he pitched very well. He only allowed 3 runs to score. He added 6 strikeouts. Texas Wesleyan did hit well early, I will say that, but he kept the damage to a minimum. The bats just kept going all weekend, man. We had 11 hits in this game, 13 runs. We ended up 10-run ruling these boys 13-3 to get back-to-back sweeps in conference. Huge.
Big time. Yeah,
Who are you
big 2
telling?
weeks.
Huge. You know why it's huge? Because now we're sitting in second place in conference.
Wow.
Behind MACU, who we already beat.
Oh, shoot. So we
So we all
so
right.
we're second with the tiebreaker right now.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy? They changed baseball. This is the first year where baseball has moved to the same type of postseason that the rest of the sports have. For the longest, baseball has always gone to 2 host sites, and that's where you play your entire tournament until the championship game.
Oh.
But now they have, just like everybody else, top 4 seeds host the first round.
Oh, that's cool.
So now
that'd be big
baseball,
for us.
yeah, that's big for us to be in the top 4, and solidifying that. On top of that, we added a team to the conference, College of the Ozarks. For baseball, that adds another team to baseball conference, which means that now you can get an automatic bid for winning the regular season.
Oh,
We
wow.
haven't had that.
Oh, so even
We had to win the tournament to go,
Had to win the
or
tournament.
you had to have a great, had to have a great season. So now we're in a position where if we get first place in regular season, we ain't got to worry about winning the conference tournament. Of course you want to,
Yeah.
but you ain't got to worry about
But
winning.
it's not near as much pressure.
It's not near as much pressure, man. So that's big for them to be in the situation that they're in right now. And I want to talk about the big 3. And then I'm going to move on, I promise. But I got to talk about the big 3, man. Right now, Delvis is hitting 420 on the season. Delvis is hitting 420 on the season with 14 home runs. That's tied for 3rd in the nation for home runs.
That's crazy.
3rd in the nation. 33 RBIs. Felix, a 372 batting average. 12 home runs. That's tied for 11th in the nation. 46 RBIs. That's tied for 6th in the nation. Samuel Fabian, 356 batting average, 13 home runs, tied for 6th in the nation. 41 RBIs, tied for 17th in the nation. These guys are
Getting
carrying
it
our
done.
offense. We have a lot of guys that are supporting them as well, but I do have to shout these guys out. I mean, a stat line like that through this time of the season,
come on,
y'all
man.
going crazy, ridiculous. Our team batting average is 328. That's like top 30 in the nation right now. Our slugging percentage, 583. That means a lot of extra base hits. Number 11 in the nation. We hit very well with runners in scoring position. That's not a stat at this level right now. But if it was, I guarantee you we would have
Up there.
It would be up there. Because when our guys are on base, we drive them in. And that's the way to win the game. You know what I'm saying? So you can see why they're doing well. And then our pitching is doing well because the thing is either our starters are going the distance or we're having to go to our bullpen. And a lot of times when you go to your bullpen, it's like, I don't know what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
But with these guys, our bullpen has been
getting
very
it done.
solid this year. They've been getting it done. Our closer. I don't know if he's the official closer, but he looked like he the closer.
Yeah.
Christian getting it done. Potts coming out of the pen. Like I said, all of these guys that are coming out of the pen, other than Christian, a lot of these guys were game 1 guys. So the fact that they're taking on this new role and getting the job done
good
still,
that we got
that's
multiple
very good.
guys who could be game 1
Exactly.
guys though.
Exactly. So the guys are, like I said, they're second in conference behind MACU, and they're doing well. They're on a 6-game winning streak. So props to y'all. Hope y'all continue your success. Now, let's take this one on to softball. Softball's first matchup, not over the break, but of course, like I said the previous week, was against Texas Wesleyan. And they went into game 1, and it was a nightmare. Bottom of the second, after getting 2 quick outs, thinking this is going to be just a continued game as normal, we allowed Texas Wesleyan to score 8 runs with 2 outs, man. And they capitalized on a lot of freebies. And we were down 9 in just the bottom of the second. And 9 times out of 10, I know baseball did it, but it's not common to just respond to an inning like that. And we did not bounce
Especially
back.
with them 8 runs being with 2 outs.
Yeah.
Like
You're
telling me-
defeated.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you thinking, all right.
In your mind,
one
and
more
it's
out.
finna be over.
Yeah.
We finna go in the next inning, you know what I'm saying? And
8
and
runs.
then 8
Just
runs.
Didn't get it going.
Yeah. We
That's
did not
gotta hurt.
bounce back. Did not bounce back. We ended up losing this one 3-17. They just kept hitting, scoring more runs. We went into game 2, though, with a different mentality. But what I will say, though, is in game 2, it was sort of like a game of missed opportunities, I'll say, because in the top of the 4th, we had bases loaded with 1 out. Couldn't score a run. Top of the 7th, a couple mishaps led to bases loaded again with 1 out for us. Christian was hit by a pitch that tied the game at 3, but the next 2 batters will pop out. So another situation where we couldn't really get that big hit. And then what I will say, though, is Michaela did have a big hit in the top of the 6th with a 2-run home run. That was big for us because it made this game, put us back into a place where we felt like, okay, we still got this game right here. But we went into extras. So it was a tie ball game eventually. We went into extras, and in the 9th inning, Texas Wesleyan ended up scoring that winning run. We ended up losing game 2, 5-6. Now we can still save this series because softball, they play 4-game series, not 3-game series. So it's not like we lost the series yet, but now you're going for a tie. You want to tie the series. Game 3, it was a quiet game for us offensively. Only putting together 5 hits, one being a solo home run, though, from Brooklyn. But that could not keep up with Texas Wesleyan from having a big inning. In the 4th, they had a 2 RBI triple and a ground out that scored another run that put us down 2-6, and that's what would be the inning score. So we went into game 4. We just need to steal one. We just need to steal one. You don't want to get swept. And so we went into the last inning. I'm going to go ahead and skip to that last inning because that's where all the action happened. We went into the last inning. We was down 1-3 with very little offensive production to this point in the game. But we do have a young lady by the name of Brooklyn Arojo. You know what I'm saying? And she be swinging that thing.
Facts.
I ain't going to lie to you. She stepped up to the plate with 2 outs. All the pressure in the world. 2 outs, you the last batter, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you ain't trying to be the last out. That's the last thing you want to do. She stepped up to the plate. She hit a 3-run home run to put us up 4-3, and we would end up going on to win this game. So basically, it was like a walk-off, but because she wasn't, we're not a home team. It's not really a walk-off. Yeah. But that was a game-winning home run.
Yeah, I mean, 2 outs, as the game's over if you get
If you get your 3 outs, you're done. And that's what they did. And so they lost the series 1-3, but that's a good way to end it. It's a good way to end it because you never want to lay down. And I don't feel like we did in the latter half of this, honestly, in any of these games other than game 1. You know, game 1 was the blow up, but we lost game 2 by 1 run. We lost game 3 by that 1 inning, and then we won game 4. So nothing wrong with that. What I'll say, though, is that we've been struggling to hit with runners in scoring position. I just talked about how well baseball is doing with that, but right now softball, they're getting hits. It's not like they're not hitting. They have a team that can hit the ball well, but the problem is when we get runners in scoring position, they don't always capitalize on it. So if they can get that, ball rolling where they can get those big base knocks, it ain't got to be a home run all the time, which is great, but it ain't got to be a home run all the time. Sometimes you just need that base knock to get those runs that really count. So then they went on to face off against Langston, and game 1 was a nail-biter. Both teams answering each other in productive innings. And like I just said, they finally started producing those big hits. In the bottom of the 4th, with runners on 2nd and 3rd, Kaylee came out to the plate. She had a 2 RBI single. Crucial error, though, allowed Langston to respond with 2 runs of their own to put us down 2-5. But with runners in scoring position again and 2 outs, Addie steps up to the plate, hits an RBI double, and then Berkeley comes up and hits a 2 RBI triple. Oh, man. 2 RBI triple made it 5-5. So after I just talked about them not getting the big hits, they start getting the big hits. So that was really good to see. And then in the bottom of the 7th, needing a run to win it, Kayla led off with a much-needed triple, and Brooklyn again drove in a winning run to make it 7-6, and we end up winning this game. So big-time walk-off. Brooklyn had 2 back-to-back walk-offs.
Yeah, shout out to Brooklyn, man.
Yeah, shout out to Brooklyn, man. She's having a season, and it's good to see for her because she was coming off that injury.
Yeah.
And I know at one point she wasn't even expecting to play again, so it's really good to see.
Facts.
And so they went into game 2, and this was a shutout performance from Adriana, who struck out 10 batters.
Man.
10 batters. She was looking like Shorty from USA. You know what I'm saying? She was up there throwing that thing. She only allowed 3 hits, and that earned her the sack player of the week.
That's big time. That's
probably
the first time.
Softball.
Nah. We've had it a couple of times actually. I think Absolutely had it at one point. Cause every now and then they pop out and show out.
That's
you know what I'm
true,
saying?
yeah.
So they've had.
Sometimes
I
you gotta
think.
pop out and show.
But yeah, man, Adriana had a really good game, man. And when you pitch like that, bro, it's all the pressure off of the hitters. They just up there having fun, and that's what they did, man. They ended up putting up 12 hits, score 8 runs to rule these girls 8-0. And then we went into game 3. We kept the bats going, and this one, Mackenzie, hit a 2 RBI double, made it 5-1 in the bottom of the 3rd, and Addie was holding it down on the mound. She had a very efficient game with 5 strikeouts, and like I said, the bats were hot, so we finished with 13 hits, and we ended up winning this one 7-3. So we won the series. Now we're going for the sweep, game 4. Adriana was back on the mound. She was looking for a repeat performance of her previous outing. They saw her a little better, but not enough. She only allowed 1 run on 6 hits and added 5 strikeouts. So not as big at the plate this time around. But we still got the job done. We got 3 runs across, and of course, one of those runs came from a solo home run from Brooklyn. We ended up winning this one 3-1. We swept them. So Brooklyn
had herself a weekend, man.
She had herself a great
She
2
definitely
weeks.
did.
Yeah.
And I do want to say, though, I want to shout out Addie. There was a lot of good production, but Addie, she went 5 for 9 over the course of this series with 5 RBIs. They weren't big hits, but they were hits that we needed. So that's big for her. So I want to shout out Addie as well. But Brooklyn just showing her power at this point.
And that's what she came here to do.
Yeah.
I know she was out of the game. She hadn't played for maybe a season or 2. She found out they had a team here, and she came here to be a leader, to be a senior, one of our better players. And of course, last year, like you said, she was injured, but this year she's been nothing but that. She's been one of our leaders of the team, and obviously leader by example. I mean, she had 20 home runs this weekend. So.
She's going crazy, man.
I think it was a great way to respond from
the previous series.
Previous series, especially coming out with a sweep. Capitalizing on that nail biter in game 1, and then just completely handling business throughout games 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
So I think it's great to see from softball, like huge performance from a whole lot of players coming up big in big moments.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. I like to see it because I'm pretty sure if they changed it for baseball, they probably changed it for softball too. I'm pretty sure that'll probably be the top 4 to host. I would assume. You know, I don't want to speak like I know it for a fact, but I would assume that they changed it for softball too. So those top 4 teams probably gonna host as well. So I hope that we continue to win, man.
That'd be nice if we find ourselves in those top 4. But if we do, to the whoever, I ain't gonna say just Yakamazi because I know it's a whole committee. It's not just him. We got to get a softball field built, man. We don't want to host the SAC tournament at the you know what I'm saying, at the YMCA. So we got to work on that. Softball get more wins, and then they, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be more of an urgent issue to get a field built.
And I really hope that in the coming years that we do get that. But what I do know is that as of right now, they built some new fields out at softball, and I believe near the end of the year we will be able to use the newest one that they have.
Perfect.
Which would be better for me as well because I ain't got to have my equipment out there and all that dirt.
Yeah, perfect.
You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we can get that quicker than expected. But now we'll move on to beach volleyball. Beach volleyball hosting here at home to start off their spring break.
First one ever.
First one ever. And they faced off against Texas Westwind, who they previously lost to. They got swept 0-5. So here at the crib, you can't have that.
Yeah, you can't. Not for the first ever home game.
Come on, man.
First of all, first home game, and it's kicking off spring break, so all the students was out there.
Yeah,
like everybody was out there before they left.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So everybody was out there. So and it was a good. It was a warm day.
It was.
It was a beautiful day out there. So not only was it a beautiful day, and you got all these students, but these girls swept y'all last time in his first home game. So you got to come out here. You got a lot riding on this one game.
They kind of disrespected us because I was told the volleyball starts at 6:30. Bro, I see the Texas Wesleyan vans pull up about 6:45.
They pulled up at 6:45.
They weren't even changed yet. So I'm like, nah, y'all not gonna let them just walk in late like they just go, walk y'all down.
And then go,
it's gonna just kill y'all and show up late. Nah.
You know, I thought about that. I was like, you know what? How y'all gonna show up and just say I'm gonna play? Like, you just gonna show up and play? Like that's how y'all rolling? Y'all think y'all gonna kill us like that? All right, bet. Well, 3 teams, 1 and 2 sets, 3 of them. Frida and Denise, 21-13, 21-13. Lulu and Avery, 21-13, 23-21. So they went to the wire a little bit. Carly and Martina, 21-15 and 21-14. And then Jordan and Louisa, they won in 3 sets. 21-19, lost the second one 13-21, won that last one 15-11. A lot of energy from them.
Yeah, it was.
I loved to see, watch them play because the thing is, when they were down, it's different when you're on the court, basically. You're sitting right there. You can hear their conversation. You can hear everything they're telling each other. It's different when you're watching from the stands because you can see a team struggling. You don't know what the coach is saying to each other. You don't know what the players are saying to each other. At beach volleyball, you hear everything they're saying right there. And they was picking each other up, even though they was frustrated. They was like, hey, you got this. Like, lock in. Like, we got this. So we can win this. And I love to see that. And they did exactly what needed to be done to win their match. And then Selma and Emily finished the night with a nail biter. They won the first one 21-14, lost that second one 14-21, and won the last one 15-13 to close out the night on a 5-0 sweep.
That was an opening night.
That's a great opening night.
Great opening night to beach volleyball being here
at
Wayland.
the crib.
Yeah,
man.
It was a good vibe, bro. Nice outside. I like how they just play music through the whole thing. I thought that was pretty cool.
Good vibes. It's all around, yeah.
It was, man. Like you said, man, it was a great atmosphere. The girls were very energetic all around. Like I said, I just love to hear the conversations that happen right there on the court. They're very supportive of each other. And
Great energy.
Great energy. And you need that, especially if you're in a match where it's tight, you're losing, you're on the wrong side of things, you might be on a run, anything like that. And you need to be able to have a teammate that's going to push you no matter what's going on. Yeah. And that's good to see that they have each other. They have, I think they matched up each other perfectly. Mm-hmm. In those teams of twos, I don't think there could be a better setup with the girls that they put together. Mm-hmm. So they're clearly making steps to being better, not only as a team as a whole, but individually each other. They're getting better, as you can see. Mm-hmm. You can see them progressing from those first couple of tournaments to where they are now. Thanks. And then they faced off against Texas Wesleyan again because there were only 2 other teams at this invite, so they played them twice. They faced off against Texas Wesleyan again, and what I will say is Texas Wesleyan realized that they needed to warm up a little bit. So they played a little bit better. They pushed us to play our best in every set. Martina and Carly won the first set 21-19, and then Texas Wesleyan had an injury forfeit. You know, they don't really have subs at this point. You know,
when it's paired, like paired up.
It's paired up. You lose one. That's basically it. You can't play. You know what I'm saying? Unless you have an emergency player. But we ended up winning this one because of that. Jordan and Louisa, they went down to the wire. They lost the first one 18-21, won the second one 21-19, and won the next one 15-12. But those would be our only 2 sets that we won. Selma and Emily did push it to 3 sets, but couldn't come out with the win. We ended up losing this one 2-3. But nothing's wrong with that. We did not get swept like we did the first time we played them, and then we swept them. And then we took 2 sets here. So over the course of the weekend, we beat them 7-3. You know what I'm saying? So
a win is a win.
A win is a win.
A win is a win.
You know what I'm saying?
A win is a win.
And then versus Trinidad State, clearly we were the better team. We won this one 4-1. All 4 wins came in straight sets. Frida and Denise, Avery and Lilu, Martina and Carly, Jordan and Louisa, all winning in straight sets. And then in match 2, we swept them 5-0. The whole squad swept in straight sets. What I will say is Martina and Carly and Jordan and Louisa went undefeated over the course of that weekend.
Brought the belt out.
Yeah, that's good to see, though. That's good to see. Especially, like you said, the previous tournaments, it didn't go as well for us. Mm-hmm. But the good thing is that they're beating teams that they already played before and lost to. So that's good to just see that improvement. I think we're learning how to string some wins together now. So that's good to see.
Great to see.
Yeah. Let's take this one on to golf. Golf is kicking off not kicking off, but, you know, they're in the spring now. They had a dominant fall. Mm-hmm. They're looking to continue it in the spring. They did drop to 12th in the nation. They haven't had their best showing of late, and I'll get to that. They dropped to 12th in the nation. They were ranked 9th in the nation. The first tournament they had was at the top of Texas Invitational, where there were 8 teams, and the only team that was ranked was us. 52 competitors. What I will say is we did not look like us as a team. Individually, we did have 2 guys in the top 10. Ben finished in 2nd place with a total score of 216, even with par, and Leonard would squeak into the top 10 after shooting 3 over par in his last round to finish tied for 8th with a total score of 226, 10 over par. But round 3 was our best round of this tournament, shoot 7 over par, and we finished in 3rd with a total score of 902, 38 over par.
Little
3rd with no ranked teams.
Little surprising for our standards.
Yeah, that's not what I was expecting from them at all. So not our best showing, and I'll continue on, and then I'll let you guys sum this up with me. On the women's side of things, Juanita started out leading the pack in round 1, shooting 3 over par, but in round 3, she did not finish strong enough. She shot 14 over par, dropping her to a 2nd place finish with a total score of 241, 25 over par. Ellen finished in 3rd place after shooting 13 over par in round 3. Her total score was 245, 29 over par, and Marissa would finish 5th overall after she shot her best round, shooting 10 over par to total a score of 251, 35 over par. Once again, these girls finishing, 3 girls finishing in the top 5. They finished, I think these same 3 girls finished in the top 5 in their previous tournament as well. So 2 good showings for them. But then at the Blazer Invitational on the men's side, again, 8 teams, only 2 ranked, us and Oklahoma City, who is ranked number 1 in the nation. So you're at least looking to get 2nd place at this invite. Round 1, Ben was tied for 3rd, shooting 4 over par. Sasha only 1 stroke behind him, and Leonard only 1 stroke behind him. All 3 guys scored an eagle in round 1. So good showing in round 1 as a team. 23 over par, 7 strokes behind 1st place. Not bad.
Yeah,
that's all right.
That's
all right. Yeah. Round 2, we were pretty grouped together. 3 of our guys shot 5 over par. And Sasha led our team this round, shooting 4 over par, but we stayed in second after OKC had an impressive round, shooting 8 over par as a team.
That's pretty dang good, yeah.
As a team, that's
More
wild,
than you
bro.
need to do.
Yeah, man. Round 3, we would finish right where we started in second place. Luckily, after shooting our worst round of the Invitational, 31 over par, finished with a total score of 937, 73 over par. Sasha finished tied for 8th, 231, 15 over par. On the women's side, we did not fare too well. They faced off against 8 teams, 3 ranked NAIA, 3 ranked JUCO. So a lot of top dogs. Only had 3 birdies over the course of the whole invite. Everything else was either even or over par. So just a rough showing for both teams over the course of the break, man. Even though we placed second at the Blazer Invitational, I just feel like it wasn't our best
We
shooting.
underperformed to our standards.
man.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to face some adversity now and kind of get some of the kinks out now.
absolutely.
We still got a lot of golf to play.
You're right, man. You're right. You're absolutely right, man. Let's get into these upcoming games because we got to close this one out. Golf is currently at Laughlin, Nevada at the Battle Invite, both men's and women's. Baseball will be playing Southwest. And then Friday, baseball has the weekend series away at Nelson. And softball will be here at home on Friday versus OPSU at 2 and 4. So y'all better show up. I hope and pray that this weekend is good weather. You know, I feel like every single time I say that, the days be perfect, but then the weekend come around and it's like
Start wind
30
come out of
degrees,
nowhere,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And I ain't got time to check the weather right now, but I just hope it's good, man. I hope it's good. And then, of course, Saturday, again, softball versus OPSU at 12 and 2. And then track and field will be starting their outdoor season at the Eastern New Mexico Invite. So that is all that we have for y'all, man.
Nobody certified.
You already know who it is, man. Adriana Armstrong, 10 strikeouts,
Yeah,
and then you
facts.
showed up
Crazy.
again and got 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
And you was pitcher of the week. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
facts.
Brooklyn had a great showing, but I think I can't give it to anybody but Adriana. You know, everybody played. Baseball and softball had a really good break.
True, they
Baseball
did.
and softball had a really good break. So it's gonna slow down though. You know, we down to the spring sports. Just a couple sports left. But hopefully next show we can get some more interaction with it. We just had to speed through this one, man. But we'll see y'all same time next week.